Hey everyone, it's Kenton Becker, American Pacific Mortgage. I'm here again with another weekly video update for you. This week's video, I want to talk about what steps do you need to take to buy a house and how do you get ready to buy a house as well. So let's jump right into it. I think step number one and step number two almost go hand in hand. Step number one is you just need to review your budget to make sure that you can even afford a home. Sometimes in our area, affordability is a little bit challenging. And so you need to kind of take a realistic approach to your budget, looking at your income, your expenses, your spending habits, some of those things, just to see if you think you can even buy a house. Now, the reason I put step one and step two almost hand in hand, I'd like to just call them both step one, because sometimes when you look at your budget, you may not know if what you're seeing on paper will even get you into a house. And so step number two is you need to take action and contact a loan officer. Now, the reason this is so important before you do anything with your budget, before you make adjustments, make plans, start changing stuff with your credit or your income, is because I've seen a lot of clients that have made steps with their credit or made steps with their employment or income only to kind of screw things up and actually end up taking them longer to buy a house because they didn't plan properly. So that's why I always recommend talk to a loan officer first. And part of this step in talking to a loan officer is ultimately to get pre-approved. Now you might be thinking, well, why would I get pre-approved if I haven't even got my finances in line or I haven't even looked at my down payment? Because the loan officer is going to help you create a plan. They're going to look at your finances, looking at your income, your debts, your credit scores, how much down payment you have. And if you can't get to the home you want to buy now, they're going to help you create that plan with what do you need to do on your credit? Maybe what things do you need to fix on your credit? What kind of income do you need to get into the home you want? How much down payment will you need to get a payment that works for you? Or can you use down payment assistance? So going through the pre-approval process in step number two and contacting a loan officer is going to help you put that plan in place to get ready to buy a house. And that really brings me to step number three, which is now preparing your finances. And keeping in mind that preparing your finances involves your loan officer. For example, what does your income need to be to afford the house that you want to buy? Is your income good where it's at? Do you need to work additional hours? Do you need to get a second job? Do you need to work on trying to get a promotion or maybe a different job? All questions and things that you and your loan officer can explore to get you into the home that you want to buy. Also, what down payment do you need to have? Can you get away with doing down payment assistance and using a program like that to get into a home that works for you? Or do you need to come up with a little bit of down payment to truly get the payment you want to see? Maybe that's 3%, 5%, 10% down. What does that number need to be to get you into the home that you want? And also the loan officer, as part of the pre-approval process, they are going to look at your credit so they can also see what are your credit scores, what does your credit history look like, and they can even help you maybe explore some ways to increase your credit scores, and that could get you a better interest rate or access to better loan programs as well. They can help come up with a plan and a guide on how to actually increase and do very specific things with your credit to get your credit scores where they need to be. All right, the next step in the process, number four, is you need to decide what you actually want. There's a big difference between wants and needs. Yes, we all want the dream home. We all want the home that has a view of the mountain or is on a lake or some kind of waterfront or 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 6,000 square feet. I mean, we all want a lot of really cool things, but there's a big difference between what you want and what you need. And is this your first home? Is this your dream home that you're buying? Those are in different stages. A first-time home buyer needs to be very realistic about what their needs are versus what they want. They probably want to focus, for their budget's sake, on more what they need. A home that has just the right amount of bedrooms to get them where they need to be, the right amount of bathrooms in the right area, location to their work. Maybe that is a first time or what we would call a starter home versus what you want, which is more the dream home. Maybe you're a buyer that you're now on your third home purchase, you're planning on selling your home, and this next home purchase is going to be your dream home. Well, now, because you have more equity to work with or you have a larger down payment, now you really can put together that want list. I really want to have that really larger home or downsizing or whatever it is that you're truly wanting. Now you might have a little bit more flexibility on that. So being realistic on your wants versus your needs is very important. Also, location is very important as well. Again, whether you're selling a home and buying a new home or you're a first-time home buyer, sometimes location is a big difference between an affordable home and a not so affordable home. Are you willing to travel a little bit for your work? Are you willing to make some sacrifices to get into this home? Understanding that getting out of renting and into home ownership sometimes may take sacrifices, not only in the type of home you get, going back to that wants versus needs, but also in your location. You know, maybe where you're renting right now, you're 15, 20 minutes away from work, and that's super convenient. But in order to buy a home, you might have to be 30 or 45 minutes away from work. Are you okay with that? Is that okay to have a slightly longer commute so that you can have home ownership and actually have something that your money is going towards with all of the benefits of home ownership as well? All right, step number 5 that you need to identify is, what is your timeline? Do you have a lease, your current lease at your rental right now that's not up for another 9 months or 12 months, and by breaking that, you would have to pay thousands of dollars? You know, that may not be something you want to do. So you need to look at your timeline coming up in 2-3 months where you need to get a jump on some of these things quickly. Otherwise, you're going to have to extend that. Maybe you want to move based on your kids' school schedules, where you're looking at the summertime saying, I would prefer to move during the summer when we're not uprooting them right in the middle of school. The other side of it is, a lot of times I know on these videos I talk about first-time home buyers, but the reality is that a lot of current home buyers are watching these videos as well. Another question that you need to ask in planning to buy a house is, if you already own a house, what are you doing with your current house? Are you going to rent that home? Are you looking to use some of that equity for the new home purchase? Or are you planning on selling that home and trying to use some of that equity towards a new home purchase? Some of these decisions will really affect your timeline. Again, whether you're buying now, selling down the road, you know, there's all these things that have to be considered, especially if you own a house. You're going to want to work closely with your loan officer and the person I'm about to mention in the next step. All right, the 6th and final step is we need to talk with a real estate agent. By this point, if you've made it to the 6th step, you've already talked to a loan officer. Most likely you're already pre-approved. You've straightened out your finances and got everything planned and prepared. You have a needs and wants list, so you know exactly what it is you're looking for. And you also know what your timeline is on when you want to buy. So at this point, we have to get a realtor involved. Getting that real estate agent involved is going to help you learn things about the market, set up your home search, and ultimately move on to the next step, which I won't really talk about in this video, but the next step of actually putting in an offer on a home. Maybe in a future video, I will talk about the actual process from the time you put in the offer until what closing looks like. Maybe we'll save that for a future video series, but in this one, we're just getting the agent involved so we can start setting up that home search. This is a very important step in the process, and you have to remember that you as the buyer, your loan officer, and your realtor, that is the team. That is the core team that's going to help you get into a home. Those are the 6 steps that you need to take getting prepared to buy a house. Any questions on these steps, or you have any comments, make sure you comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you like these videos, share them with anyone you know that you think might like a video like this as well. And if you do need help with those first steps of getting pre-approved, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out also in that process. Thanks so much for joining me this week. Have a great week.